Welcome to the Abrams Boxing Show, powered by Last Out Media and brought to you by www.15rounds.com, the worldwide leader in boxing news. Also, Abrams Boxing PR Media and Broadcasting, the industry standard for boxing media relations and play-by-play broadcasting. Also, check out www.abramsboxing.com, Abrams Boxing on YouTube, as well as M. Abrams Boxing on Twitter and Marc Abrams Boxing on Instagram. Welcome to another edition of the Abrams Boxing Show. I'm Marc Abrams, and we have a great show for you as I adjust my microphone here. I got my man, the birthday boy, sweet baby Ray Flores, be joining us in a couple minutes, talk about a bunch of different boxing topics. One of them was the unified WBA, WBO, IBF heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk, knocking out Daniel DuBois in round 9 of their fight Saturday in Wrocław, Poland. Usyk pretty much dominated the fight, with the exception of a very controversial moment in round 5, where Usyk was hit with what was called a low blow. He was down for several minutes. He was ready to go. Referee Louis Pabon gave him more time than he needed to recover. He came back and just kind of took control of the fight, stopped DuBois with some shots. In round 8, he dropped DuBois, and then in round 9, he finished it with a little right hook to the head. Time was 48 seconds. DuBois, who was ranked WBA, he was the WBA interim world champion, so he got that defeat. So it was just an all-around mess on Saturday after that fifth round stoppage. For my money, I thought it was a clean shot. I don't know. And when we get to Ray in a second, we talk about everything that went on with that. So, you know what? I might as well bring in Ray Flores now. We'll talk about what happened Saturday in Poland and a few other boxing topics. Now, join me on the line is my frequent guest, and today, as we tape this, celebrating a birthday. I know you're like a woman; you don't want to say your age, so I won't ask you your age. Boxing commentator extraordinaire, sweet baby Ray Flores. What's happening?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. I'll admit to you, like I put it out there, in the fact that I'm blessed to be 37, but I feel like I'm 27, man. So I feel a lot. I feel great, like I'm in my mid-20s.
Well, yeah, it's about when I met you, you were in your mid-20s.
Yeah, right? I was like a teenager back then.
Yeah, well, you got as much, if not more, energy now than you did back then. So
I do, which is crazy.
Low blow gate that happened in Poland over the weekend with that. Saw what happened, especially in the 5th round. What did you see, and what, since maybe seeing replays and still pictures and everything afterwards, what are your evaluations of what happened between Usyk and DuBois?
I'll be honest, Mark. I think that from my perspective, it was so close that I don't think it's. I think either case has, or either side has a case. But from my perspective, I do believe it was a bit low, like a tad bit low. With that being said, though, I mean, that was a very interesting part of the fight, and people want to continue to harp on it. But you got to look at the fact that, Usyk was able to turn it around and do what he did and put down DuBois, whereas DuBois could never really capitalize on that momentum that he had with that in that particular moment, even though it wasn't ruled a knockdown, et cetera, et cetera. But it was almost there are moments in a fight, and it's almost like when you're in a world championship fight like that, you are like in a playoff game in football, and there are moments, you have 1 or 2 moments where it's going to swing the pendulum one way or the other. And for DuBois, he had that moment, but he couldn't capitalize and seize the opportunity. So, yeah, it is unfortunate, but I'm not going to say that he lost the fight particularly because of that infraction. So I know that Frank Warren has said that he's going to, issue a letter to the WBA and ask for immediate rematch. I'm okay with it because who knows what Tyson Fury's going to do? I mean, he's fighting Francis Ngannou. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's going to fight a YouTuber or an ex MMA guy. He might want to go the Jake Paul route, which, hey, that's fine. But he's the heavyweight champion of the world, so I'd like to see unification at some point. But if Usyk needs a dance partner because Usyk likes to fight a lot and he likes to be consistent and he wants to run it back with DuBois, then I say, hey, you know what? Leave no doubt. It's like the Floyd Mayweather effect. When Floyd fought Maidana the first time, he beat him handily, not handily, but he beat him in a competitive fight. He said, I want to run it back to show that there were no doubts whatsoever. I think Usyk could take that route if a unification fight with Fury is not on the table.
Well, it's funny. A couple things. I agree with you that he obviously had a guy hurt. I mean, Usyk was hurt after that shot, and he really didn't seize that opportunity to kind of, even though Usyk got about 32 minutes to recover for that. Your interpretations of the rules, I'm like starting to question myself. When I thought it's a good blow because they always say the belt line. Then I see people on whatever the heck Eli Musk calls his thing now, X, Twitter, Y, who knows, 3.14. I have no idea. People are saying it's below the navel. Is it below? Is it below the belt? Is it below the belt line? Is it below the navel? What is the rule? Look, in what you interpret?
I think the rule is what the referee when he brings them to the center, and people lose sight of that because they're like, oh, well, look at the facial expressions and look at this and that. I look at when the referee says, and at that moment, that's the final call. That is the ultimate call where he says, this is low. He will point and say, this is low. This is not. He said that. Pabon said that. And under the jurisdiction, based on what Pabon said and what he used with his hand mannerisms, as they were facing off prior to the sound of bell one, it was technically low. So it's just by an individual case-by-case basis. I don't think like the rule book is open to interpretation with that particular thing because it is on the referee's discretion. And Pabon said that on both guys. DuBois, unfortunately, from my standpoint, hit a bit below what Pabon did. Therefore, it was technically an illegal blow. Was it egregious? Absolutely not. It was as borderline as you can come, but it's for me, it's like baseball terms. I know you're a very big baseball guy. The tie goes to the runner, and that's how it is, man.
Yeah, because, you always hear the belt line, and when I hear belt line, just to bring that into the equation is that whole elastic area because the top of your belt, you don't put your belt on the top of your pants. You put it on that whole little belt area through the holes. And in boxing trunk terms, it's that whole elastic area. That was on the elastic area, in my opinion. And the other thing is, and not get too graphic, is unless Usyk's quote private areas are all the way up kind of right below his stomach, which is probably humanly impossible. he didn't get hit there. He got hit in the stomach.
I mean, but again, if you look at the sanctioning bodies and the promoters and everyone involved, they sign off on the referee. So when you do that, then you have to allow the referee to have his discretion. And is Pabon my favorite referee in the world? No, he's not. But he was the referee in charge, that third man inside the squared circle, and that's what he ruled. So based on that alone is what happened. So it's unfortunate on both sides because it just sucks that we're talking about this particular moment instead of saying, damn, like DuBois fought better than what we thought with having that moment, but Usyk is Usyk.
So so we'll close the door on that. The last time I had a chance to talk to you, we talked a couple days. We were in the 133-degree tent in Las Vegas before the Crawford Spence fight. So that was before the fight. Obviously, we've had exactly a month as we taped this, a month and 1 day to digest everything that went on. I haven't gotten the Ray Flores assessment of the immaculate performance by Terrence Crawford on July 29th.
It was just such an experience to watch greatness inside that ring. What Terrence Crawford did against Errol Spence on July 29th, it is one of those things where I'm going to say we really saw history in more ways than one. Not only the first championship, the first title holder, the first undisputed welterweight champion in the four belt era, but Terrence Crawford is a once in a generation talent. I knew he was good. I felt he was great, but he proved that he is just such a special fighter. I mean, that was just, I was sitting there in awe watching what he did to decimate Errol Spence Jr. on July 29th. He is truly one of those guys that I believe could be elite at any level. Everyone talks about all the levels of the 80s or the 90s, whatever. Terrence Crawford, no matter what era, would be a world champion in any era that he decided to step into because he's that good and he's that brilliant of a prize fighter. And to steamroll Errol Spence in that fashion, I mean, my goodness, my hat's off to him. If I did, I'm not going to wear a hat because I like my hair. But I'm just, I was just blown away by Terrence Crawford's performance.
In fact, into it, I got on that plane coming home after the fight thinking, I think Terrence Crawford, and I'm not going to put you on the spot because I know you have a relationship with this man. I think Terrence Crawford would beat Floyd Mayweather.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wow. See,
I think at some point he would get to him.
Wow.
I just think he would. Because he's not a wild swinger. He's pretty precise with his punches. And at some point he would get to him. I don't know why I would think that. I don't know. Maybe it was the heat of the moment that got to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you know what's great about this, Mark, about what you're saying? I think Floyd would find a way to win a 7-5 decision, but it would be an amazing fight. But we're seeing the best, like Terrence Crawford proved that this is his era, the welterweight division. So after Floyd, there was sort of this, all right, Crawford, Spence. Crawford proved 147, he's the man. So we were watching the Terrence Crawford era, and it was definitive on July 29th. Now I'm pumped to see what could potentially be next in terms of him going to 54, the rematch with Spence.
Do you want to see the rematch? Do you want to see the rematch 54-47?
No, I want to see the rematch at 54. I don't want to see the rematch at 47 because I mean, Floyd, I don't know if I told you, but Floyd Mayweather was sitting in front of me and literally looks back and says,
"How dare him?"
No, he literally looks back at me and he says, he goes, Spence is outgrown this weight. He shouldn't be fighting here. He needs to move up to 160. I'm like, whoa, 160. He goes, he's drained. He said early in the fight, he goes, he wasn't really getting hit with too many big, powerful punches, and it was affecting him. He goes, he's drained. I think with this particular fight, I look at it the way that Wilder, when he lost to Tyson Fury the first time in their second fight, you got to give a guy who's been undefeated and world champion for so many years another opportunity, especially if it's in the contract and both sides agree. People were talking, in the lead up to Wilder Fury 3, how could this happen? We know what the result's going to be, blah, blah. And it was one of the greatest heavyweight fights that we've ever seen. Now, are we going to get one of the greatest super welterweight fights that we're ever going to see? I don't know if that's the case, but I'll tell you what, I do think we get a better account from Errol Spence Jr. Is it enough to beat Terrence Crawford? I don't know. But you know what? You got to give the champion another opportunity to see what he's going to go out. And if he wants it, I say let him do it, and we'll see how it goes.
As sick as this sounds, and this is the perfect segue or perfect bridge to where I want to go here, Canelo Alvarez. I think Crawford is going to fight Canelo Alvarez at some point. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. But segue to Canelo Alvarez, September 30th, Jamel Charlo. It's a very interesting fight. Great card. I won't be there for once. I know you always put that you're pumped for cars. Pump. This is one I think the fans, the whole card, should be pumped for. Let's just focus right now on the main event, Canelo Alvarez and Jamel Charlo.
Well, I, like you, will be a spectator for the first time in many years. and I will be watching it overseas.
Oh,
So my brother will be there and stuff. I will be with One Championship for one fight
wow.
14. So I will be out in Singapore watching it on Sunday morning.
So if you're watching on Sunday morning, you'll know who wins.
No, yeah, I can't. But I'll be watching it Sunday morning live in Singapore, and I am very intrigued by this fight. You know why? Because it is, Canelo Alvarez is still, the cash cow in boxing, and when he came out and he's back with Premier Boxing Champions, he's fighting a guy who's very hungry, who's very determined, who has gotten past every obstacle that's been put in front of him in the squared circle. And I think styles make fights. And I think this is going to be an intriguing matchup. With that being said, I do believe that, Canelo being the bigger man will serve him well, but you cannot count out Jermell Charlo based on the fact that Charlo has had to deal with adversity in his career. And as you pointed out, the card is absolutely stacked. I mean, Jesus Ramos, Erickson, Lubin, let's be real here. That could be a main event anywhere in the world. It is a loaded card, and I think fight fans are going to get a treat on September 30th in Las Vegas.
So just real quickly, I think Canelo has maybe, I don't want to say slipped, but he's on a little bit on the other side of the mountain. He didn't look great against Golovkin, didn't look great against John Ryder. Like you said, you have a hungry, athletic Jermell Charlo. The weight means nothing to me. He's he's a big kid at 100. 168 with Jermell Charlo. Not picking an upset, but so that's my thing. And real quickly, like I just mentioned it, we said I think Terrence Crawford at some point is going to fight Canelo Alvarez, and if the fight happens 2-3 fights down the line, Terrence Crawford's got a real good chance to win that fight, in my opinion.
I think that fight could potentially, and a lot of stuff has to happen. And this is where
Of course.
I'm excited potentially, but a lot of stuff has to happen in the sense that, Crawford would have to beat Spence a second time
Which
at
he
54.
will.
I mean, look, I can't count out Errol Spence. I'm going to have an open mind and say Spence has a shot because I do think he does. Major adjustments have to happen. But again, Derek James, Errol Spence, I've known those guys for over a decade. I'm not going to count them out because I think Errol Spence, even losing to Crawford, is still a very special fighter. When it comes to Canelo, it all depends on, can he get past Jermell Charlo? And then in May, will he be able to, if he fights in May, will he beat Jermell Charlo? And if that is his opponent for May. So if Crawford and Canelo were to happen, I believe it would take place next September during Mexican Independence Day weekend in Las Vegas. I know the UFC has it now, but let's be real. I think Vegas is going to say, hey, Dana, that's cool and all. You're doing a smaller card, but Canelo and Crawford would certainly trump that in next year in September. But some things have to align, and I think it is such a compelling matchup. And because, they say a big man, a very good big man beats a smaller man, a highly skilled smaller man. And we see that happen over the course of time. But Terrence Crawford could be that outlier that just finds a way because he's so big, he's so strong, he's so athletic, he's so explosive. He carries the weight well. He was having issues already with 47. We'll see how he responds at 54. I don't think he's going to miss a beat at 54. And then going up to 168, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility for him to have a lot of success, especially against the fact that he's a mover and he's a boxer puncher. We'll see how that goes, man. But, I'd love to see it.
Well, Ray, thank you for a few minutes of your time. Two quick non-boxing questions.
Yeah.
We got going on for the birthday?
I'm going to go to Gibson Steakhouse in downtown Chicago, my favorite steakhouse in the city with my parents and my brothers. I'm going to enjoy that. And then I'm going to go see a lot of my friends over at one of the taverns that I enjoy here in Chicago, Duffy's Tavern, and see like 40 or 50 of my friends that, here in Chicago on a Wednesday evening and celebrate my birthday.
I wish I would have known before now. I would have sent over one of those big cakes with maybe someone popping out of it. But and the other thing is, you mentioned about being in Singapore, one championship. What else you got on the docket?
So I'm going to be in Asia back-to-back weeks. So I got one
Wow.
fight night 14 when it comes to, Stamp and Ham Seo Hee. That'll be on September 29th here in the United States on Prime Video, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. 1 week later, I will be in Bangkok for one fight night 15 on Prime Video. So back-to-back Fridays, end of September, early October. We got Tawanchai and Superbon, which is going to be a ridiculous Muay Thai World Championship affair between two Thai fighters who are legends out in Thailand and in the world of Muay Thai kickboxing. So I can't wait back-to-back weeks.
Are you staying there, or you
Yeah,
come back?
I will. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm literally going to go from Kansas City. We're going to be celebrating my brother Miguel's 30th birthday. We're going to go to Bears and Chiefs. Then I will go to Singapore on Monday, and I will be in Singapore that entire week. Spend a couple of days in Singapore. Head to Bangkok on Tuesday. Do some shopping in Bangkok because I love the shopping in Bangkok, and then get ready for fight week on Wednesday, and then do the fight on Friday night here in the United States. Saturday morning out in Lumpini Boxing Stadium, and then head home and enjoy a week of NFL football.
Bears and Chiefs.
Sorry, Mike.
We
I'm losing.
cut. Can't hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Got me now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I said two non-boxing questions. Make it three. You mentioned Bears and Chiefs. Yesterday was cut down day, so now all we can do now is look forward to the NFL season. I know you're excited. Your Bears, they killed it in free agency. Got some good guys in the draft. What are you expecting? 16-1 from the Bears?
No, it's not going to be 16-1. Let me be humble about things. The Bears
14-3.
The Bears are going to be 9-8. They're going to squeak into the playoffs in the wild card. The Detroit Lions are going to win the division because the NFL would not put the Detroit Lions in a primetime position to start the year against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs if they didn't believe that they had even a remote chance of being competitive and being a breakout team. I think that the NFL believes that the Lions are a breakout team. I think they take that next step. I think the Lions are 11-6. I think the Bears are 9-7. I believe the Bears squeak into the playoffs, and I do believe that the Bears handle Jim Boone's Green Bay Packers next Sunday at Soldier Field on the lakefront. I'm not going to be there working. I'm going to be there as a fan. I can't wait. I'm going to be tailgating from 9 o'clock in the morning with my First and 10 tailgate crew. We raise money and toys for Laurie's Children's Hospital for kids that are sick during the holidays. So excited about that, and to see all my Bears family next Sunday for Week 1 on the lakefront at my favorite place on the planet, Soldier Field.
Guys, just a ball of energy, especially on his birthday.
No doubt about it, man. You know how it is.
Thanks as always, Ray.
Appreciate it, bro. Always. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks to my good friend, Sweet Baby Ray Flores. Real quickly, go through a couple results last weekend. Jared Anderson goes to 16-0, 15 knockouts, stops Andre Rudenko in round number 5. And Jared Anderson remains as he stopped Garen Diagon after round 6 of their world title fight down in Puerto Rico. Super middleweight upset artist Vladimir Hernandez did it again, goes to 14-5 as he took a split decision from Lorenzo, a majority decision from Lorenzo Simpson. That took place Friday night in Atlanta. Also, WBA regular minimum weight champion Eric Rosa won in a non-title fight as he was victorious over Orlando Pino, as Pino didn't come out for the the 9th round of their fight. Rosa now 6-0, 2 knockouts. This week, real quickly, Liam Smith, 33-3-1, rematches Chris Eubank Jr., 32-3. That will take place live in Manchester, England. It'll be on ESPN Plus here in the United States beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern. The undercard will feature WBA number 11 ranked Adam Azim taking on Aram Fanyan. Also, Frazier Clark, the undefeated heavyweight, takes on Dave Allen. Also, Florian Marquis, Florian Marcoux, 12-1, 7 knockouts, takes on Dylan Moran. Mark Heffron battles Jack Cullen, and Michaela Mayer will fight Olympic gold medal. Will be on the card, as well as Olympic gold medal winner Lauren Price. Couple news items. Championship committee, the WBA, called for a purse bid between WBA flyweight champion Artem Dalakian and Sergio Yuri Akui. That will be a 75-25% split. Minimum is $80,000. They ordered an eliminator bout between Morajan Akhmadaliev and Kevin Gonzalez for the 130 pound 130 pound division to face Tomoki Kamada. 3 matchups will highlight an unbelievable pay-per-view card that me and Ray touched on. Canelo Alvarez versus Jamel Charlo on September 30th. The co-main event will be Jesus Ramos, 20-16 knockouts, and Erickson Lubin, 25-2, 18 knockouts. Also, the battle of former belt holders, Urjanis Ugas, 27-5, 12 knockouts, takes on Mario Barrios, 27-2, 18 knockouts. And an action-packed opening bout between undefeated Elijah Garcia, 15-0 with 12 knockouts, and Armando Resendiz, 14-1, 10 knockouts. I'd like to thank my good friend Ray Flores for joining us. Join us next week on the Abrams Boxing Show.